House File 826, which has already passed the House and is expected to pass in the Senate the 2014 session with little resistance from the public, is changing the intent and lawful definition of sexual orientation and the purpose of bullying law. Statutory and policy reform should focus on, among other provisions, the following. In other words, if you feel like you should be a boy or a girl, teachers in the school would have to allow, and may promote, students to use opposite gender locker rooms and bathrooms, etc. in schools. A. Include gender identity or expression. In Statute 127A.42. In other words, someone cannot approach, counsel, remove, or tell a boy to leave the girl's locker room or a girl to leave the boy's bathroom or any other cross-gender restriction. B. Include gender identity or expression. In Rule 3535.2300, changing the law in multiple locations. C. The word discriminate includes sexual harassment. In the Minnesota Human Rights Act, a school cannot approach, counsel, remove, or discourage homosexual behavior. D. Advise Minnesota school districts and administrators. In other words, create another unfunded mandate advisory board to rule over the school districts in the Equal Access Act, and force the school districts to pay for the service to police their school policies and implementation. Teachers, administrators, and anyone employed by the public school systems could not challenge, counsel, or remove a student expressing themselves as a cross-gender person. It is the parents that could be held accountable if the student feels bullied. Gay marriage or sexual orientation is not about gays, bis, heterosexuals, marriage, right, wrong, etc. That is just a diversion. It is deceitful and in most cases an outright lie. It is about legalizing sodomy, causing avoidable pain, suffering, and death, and financial ruin while making the elite, doctors, lawyers, pharmaceutical companies rich. Open your eyes to the train wreck this country is headed for, as history has proved over and over. A virus cannot be killed because it is not alive, and it doesn't matter who you are, or what or who you like, or love, or anything else. It is a public health assault by the elite to the unsuspecting public to reprogram the public under the Federal Health Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare. If a human chooses to practice sodomy and acquire the immune deficiency over time, AIDS, in their body, there is no medicine that can kill the virus, HIV, that will eventually take over the person. The only thing medicine can do is prolong the expensive suffering, pain, and death. Medicine can't even cure the common cold virus in a healthy person. The only variable is how strong the individual's initial immune system is when the behavior of sodomy begins. Aren't we as individuals and our lawmakers supposed to protect the public? 1 in 4 new cases of HIV is occurring in our youth, the posterity and future of our country. That's 1,000 youth per month. Most don't even know they are spreading the diseases. Abraham Lincoln said, "The philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will become the philosophy of government in the next." The philosophies in the classroom today are teaching our children to rely on government. It's our responsibility to protect the schoolroom, ourselves, and the public from assaults foreign and domestic. The practice of sodomy is spreading death. Blame shifting it to someone else after the child dies is too late. Now is the time to act. Or do we give our precious gifts of children, freedom, and responsibility to the elite and world powers? The Common Core standards are corrupt in every subject. It's time to stop thinking our children are an autopilot education in school and parents can't have a say in what their children learn. Even a few years ago, how many parents thought sodomy would be legalized and mandated to be taught it is safe, normal sexual behavior? However horrible you may think things are, the situation is much, much worse. In the name of health, children are systematically being reprogrammed and stolen from you to serve government, the rich, and elite. Only you can stop this assault. The children and your freedom are at stake. Reprogramming the mind is a serious threat. Even you may need to make a decision to stop the assault on yourself. Do not allow the public health assault and legalization of sodomy in Minnesota or the education of it being an acceptable lifestyle to our children. This is a public health issue. Sodomy is an unnatural use of the body. Sodomy is unhealthy and can kill, destroy the immune system, and those who practice it have an incredibly high risk to diseases, infection, and suffer in pain and untimely death. A virus is not alive and cannot be killed. Only a healthy immune system can suppress it. This is why antibiotics don't work. A virus is not alive. Antibiotics can relieve HIV symptoms while the immune system continues to fail. The disease sodomy produces can be spread to the unsuspecting society at large. Sodomy is too large of a financial burden on Minnesota and society to maintain viability. If Minnesota legalizes the gay agenda and lifestyle, it is equal with legalizing sodomy, and the taxpayers are going to pay for it. It will shift money for public necessities and services to paying the elite under the guise of health care. House File 826 is called a Safe and Supportive Schools Bill or Anti-Bullying Bill. It is a state-mandated approach claiming to help solve bullying in our public schools. It is an untested experiment on her children. It will cost public schools over $20 million per year to implement, and the state is providing zero funding for local school districts. This will be another unfunded mandate that will take away funding from academic programs. This is the least of the problems with the bill, as you will soon see. I would like to reiterate that this is pending legislation at the state capitol. House File 826 is administered by an unelected 24-member school climate council who decides for all Minnesota schools what is and is not bullying and the procedures and consequences for students accused of bullying. This approach seriously damages local control and parent involvement in dealing with bullying incidences. Illinois and other states have rejected bills like House File 826, but here in Minnesota, our DFL-controlled legislature and governor want to pass it. Minnesota public schools are already required by state statute to develop policies and implement procedures to deal with intimidation and bullying, and these results show they are very effective in preventing and reducing bullying at local school district levels. Therefore, House File 826 and its supporters are trying to address a manufactured crisis. House File 826 has a vague definition regarding bullying. It includes words like objectively offensive, emotional distress, actual or perceived, asserted or alleged, in regard to defining bullying. Keep in mind this is to be implemented by an unelected 24-member state-mandated school climate council. Does this sound like an effective proven strategy to solve bullying incidents, or more like an ineffective experiment mandated on our children with a political agenda? House File 826 is legislation that is designed to implement the Governor's Safe and Supportive Schools Task Force report completed in August 2012. This report is designed to instill in school children state-mandated values, attitudes, and behaviors, in addition to having students understand the nature of human sexuality. Let's see what the Governor's Task Force means by connecting bullying to human sexuality.